You wouldn't believe, but the irony of doing an ADHD video and overthinking in that video about an episode about overthinking. Before we have a chat about burnout, I really want to have a chat to you about overthinking. For me personally, overthinking probably counts for 99 out of 100 reasons for me leading to burnout. And believe me, I've been to burnout numerous times. But overthinking is always the premeditator, always the one thing that gets me going there. And the irony is not lost on me that I overthought this episode to the point where I was thinking maybe I'll just move straight into the burnout episode, because it's really hard for me to articulate. I was, I suppose, looking at different examples I could provide in an overthinking space. And to be brutally honest, I was becoming very emotional. It's a little bit heavy, so I do apologize in advance. So what is overthinking to me? Overthinking is something that I've been living with for a very, very, very long time, but never really had a name to associate with. Overthinking is one of those things where I play the same scenario in my head numerous times, or if someone says something to me and I really don't know what they mean, or they don't provide context behind it, that same situation will just keep playing over and over in my head. If I'm not being busy, in the sense I'm not doing something to distract myself from that, it's really what occupies my brain. I'll go back all the way back to childhood, all the way back to school, where I will overplay conversations I've had with friends, and when I've had with other people that I haven't seen or even spoken to probably in 30 years, and my brain decides, hey, look, let's use this opportunity to embarrass you further. So I want to talk about something that, for those that have been watching the channel for a while, they probably would have heard me speaking about this in parts, but not really to the extent of what really happened in this situation. So this gets a little bit heavy, so I do apologize in advance. And if you are feeling a little bit sensitive at the moment, I'll probably skip forward maybe a couple of minutes and I will tell you when to come back into the video. But I'll give you a couple of seconds to fast forward. But when I was working over in Western Australia, I had a very close friend. We had a group of very close friends. I was a HR manager at the time, and I suppose we just had our youngest daughter. So this is probably going about 7.5 years ago. My friend rang me up. He was feeling a little bit off when I spoke to him, a little bit down in retrospect, and asked me if I had 5 minutes to chat. So he rang me up asking me if I had a couple of minutes to chat, and I was quite dismissive. I said, look, hey, I don't have the time right now. I was probably a little bit blunt because I was stressed. And I said, look, hey, I'll give you a call back tomorrow. And needless to say, tomorrow never came. So that scenario plays over in my head numerous times. Like I said, 7.5 years ago, going on 8 years next year. And it's something that plays quite frequently. To me, I know subconsciously I'm not at fault for what happened. So I am quite confident of the fact is that, that I am not responsible for what happened. However, my brain doesn't let me think that way. My brain constantly replays the phone call when I said to him, look, hey, not right now, it's not really a good time. I'll give you a call tomorrow. I hope everything's okay. Hang up. Then that is on repeat numerous times. So it is quite hard, and it's something that happens, and being diagnosed with ADHD and I suppose other neurodivergent people as well, it's probably something that, drags out and hurts. I'm filming this and my legs are sore. Like, I know this is probably going to be the bloopers reel, but I went to Sydney on the weekend and did an event with my eldest daughter and walked about 40 kilometers over the course of a day, and sitting in the corner, my legs cramped up. So looking back for a couple of videos ago, we actually discussed what led me to getting diagnosed. Overthinking was a strong part of that kind of thing. Like I had said previously, that I had a conversation with a nurse, and then because things didn't progress as quickly as I wanted it to, I'm quite impatient in that respect, so I didn't get to see a doctor for a bit of time. Then I had to get referred to a cardiologist and a lung doctor. Overthinking was a major part that played into me being diagnosed. When I overthink, it doesn't have any logic or rhyme or reason behind it. It's not circumstantial. It's not as if I walk past something and it reminds me, oh, that's right. Then all of a sudden it will start triggering and, going into like a spiral, a thought after thought. It will just randomly materialize. It'll be just a case of that if I'm not preoccupied or I'm a little bit anxious or I'm thinking about something, my brain will throw me back 30 years ago to a conversation I had with a girl in primary school, and I'm talking probably about 6 or 7, or it'll throw me back to when I'm mid-20s, or going back to, like I was saying, the health reasons, or that situation that happened with my friend 8 years ago. These things just randomly pop into my head. So the diagnosis has assisted with that. So like I said before, I am medicated. The medication does assist with that. The medication, I just want to be crystal clear, and I'm not going to harp too much on about the medication. To me, it's not a fix-all, right? So I'm not going to promote one way or another regarding the medication. By all means, please talk to your professional and work out what's best for you. But I have found that it assists in that respect. And what I did speak about in the first episode is about the voices in my head. The voices in my head is the overthinking. I'm not clinically insane, but the voices are the overthinking thing. It plays on loop, it plays on repeat, all these different scenarios, all these different situations, and sometimes hypothetical situations as well. So after last week's video, I'm in a Discord group, just a generic one, a bunch of people that I know, and they said, look, hey, when you said that, it gave me some clarity of what was going on with myself. Then that conversation turned bigger and bigger and bigger, and what I really thought may have only been one neurodivergent person in that group came to be about 10 or 15 either neurodivergent or identify as neurodivergent. If you are diagnosed or otherwise, it doesn't matter to me. If you want to have a conversation, I'd rather people create conversations, start conversations. And this is what I'm trying to say is this is what the channel's moving towards, is that I found that those conversations, even in a Discord group where we were chatting just over text, was therapeutic to me and soothed me, and it kind of gave me some, not emotional release, but some sort of, hey, it's not just me that goes through this, and something that I can resonate with other people, talk to other people, people in very similar situations that have been through this, or they're going through this, or they've been diagnosed late in life, or they're being diagnosed very early in life, and how they coped, what mechanisms they put in place, and all these different things. Because I think personally, if we start conversations about, any level of ADHD, AD, neurodivergence, regardless of what state of life you're in, if you've just been diagnosed, or you're planning on getting diagnosed, or you don't want to get diagnosed and you think you're neurodivergent, or whatever the scenario is, I want to kind of have a conversation ground about that. If I can get through to one person, that may be you, that may be someone else, that we can talk about this stuff and we can live healthier lives. And I know that sounds a bit corny, it sounds a little bit silly. It's just how I feel. If I can somehow start that journey or be a part of that journey, all the better for it. Like I said, it's not for kudos, it's not for recognition or fame or anything along the lines of that. I just really like talking to people. I like talking to you. So let's start that together. And this is where the channel will be going at. So next episode, I will be talking about burnout. Like I said previously, the burnout is quite, for me, premeditated by overthinking. It will get to the point, it doesn't really happen now that I'm medicated. What I want to do is talk about burnout, and what happens is that being overthinking wears down my mental resilience or mental ability very quickly, which leads to burnout. So it is just something that goes round and round and round for me. So we will talk about burnout. We will talk about all these different things. I will put some footage at the very end of this video about a trip that my eldest daughter and myself went to Sydney. I'll put the ferry footage on. It goes for about 4 or 5 minutes. So by all means, you can peel off. You don't have to watch that. But the footage is, something that I find very tranquil. It was from the Rocks in Sydney to Luna Park, which is Milson's Point. So we do go past the Sydney Opera House. We do go past the Sydney Harbour Bridge as well. If you haven't seen that before, it is in that. So if you haven't already, consider subscribing, consider liking the video, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if overthinking is a thing for you, and if you've got any, I suppose, mechanisms or anything you can use, or what I can use, or other people can use to kind of circumvent overthinking. But anyway, I'll leave the video here. So thank you very much for watching. If you